Today I wanted to look at Perylene green. It's my favorite green, which I think you can tell by how many I have accumulated, and I wanted to compare them. So I recently got the new Roman Szmal as well as the Daniel Smith, and I haven't had the Da Vinci that long. So let's go ahead and take a look at all of them together. Okay, so I went ahead and squeezed a little bit of paint down on to the paper. This is I just want to show you this sketchbook. Sorry. It's a Cheap Joe's Kilimanjaro. So I just started this sketchbook, but I wanted to, I apologize, officially go to 100% cotton. So we'll see how that goes. Okay, let's move my water back. So Da Vinci Perylene green is up first, and I don't want to grab too much pigment, or these are going to be so black you're not going to be able to tell a difference. Okay, so there's the Da Vinci Holbein Shadow Green. And these are mostly all PBK 31. The pigment number is at the bottom of each box. There's a few mixes, but I will point that out when we get to them. Okay, Schmincke Perylene green. This for some reason is my favorite. I have it on most of my palettes, although it doesn't granulate, and I can't really say why it's my favorite. But it's smooth and creamy like most Schmincke paints are. Okay, so we're still on the PBK 31. This is the Daniel Smith Perylene green. That one's nice. It's one of the few that granulates. This pigment doesn't granulate very much. Okay, Winsor and Newton. I've always considered this the darkest one. Handprint does say that it's the darkest one. And I think even with the new Roman Szmals, it still is. It's hard to keep this a lighter color. Okay, and this is the last PBK 31. So this is Roman Szmal. I really do like this one. I was really impressed with it, and it does granulate slightly. I think it's a really nice color. Okay, and this is their new Perylene Green Deep, and it is a PBK 32. As far as I know, they are the only brand that has a PBK 32 in their line. It is much greener, or yellower I should say, than the other ones. And it's probably closer to the color of Zoisite. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that correctly, by Daniel Smith. And this last one is Sennelier Greenish Umber. It's a mix of PBK7 and PY83. And I have to say, they got really close to making a Perylene green. It is hard to tell that this is not a single pigment. It mixes reasonably well too. I prefer the mixes of the PBK31 a little bit more, but if you have this in your arsenal, I would say you probably don't need a Perylene green. And then I wanted, just for comparison, to swatch out Daniel Smith's Zoisite. And you can see that this is pretty yellow as well. Okay, let's look at these. So, there's Vinci, Holbein, Schmincke, Daniel Smith, and then there's Winsor and Newton, the Roman Szmal's Perylene Green PBK31, then the Perylene Green Deep, that's a PBK32, the Greenish Umber, that's a mix of PBK7 and PY83 by Sennelier, and then there is Daniel Smith's Zoisite. Let's look at all of them at once. And that is the Perylene Green. So hopefully this will help you make a decision. Standing here in front of them, I can tell you that they are all extremely similar, except for the highly granulating Zoisite and the more yellowish Perylene Green Deep. Sennelier is really dark, but it has black in it. And of the PBK31, I would say Winsor and Newton is definitely the darkest. After taking a slightly harder look at these colors, I actually don't believe that any of them are granulating, not even the Daniel Smith. So I tested a few on this side that I thought had some granulation, like Daniel Smith and Holbein, in lighter washes, and nothing is showing up. So I would assume that all of these colors are non-granulating, because some of them it's extremely obvious. If you use a heavier hand with Holbein, you can get a textured look, but if you're doing lighter washes or normal washes, this is Daniel Smith and Holbein, and as you can see, they're both extremely smooth, and I think that goes for all of the colors, because those were the only ones that I really saw a little bit of granulation in. So that's just something to keep in mind. You can always use granulation medium or mix them with a granulating pigment like ultramarine or cobalt or any of those kind of colors if you really want granulation out of this pigment. But I wouldn't expect it on its own because they are very, very smooth. So I just wanted to make sure that that was clear and no one was disappointed in what they might get. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.